Everyone, welcome back to this channel and welcome to a new video. I hope everyone is doing okay today. I wanted to make a really requested video today, not in that the topic itself has been requested a lot, but I would say that this is one of the most commonly asked questions that I get from clients, from anyone that is struggling with anxiety or is struggling with panic attacks or is struggling with DPDR or dissociation. And the question is, am I losing my mind? Am I going crazy? Can I go crazy from DPDR? And just any sort of question to do with really like the fear of schizophrenia or the fear of psychosis or the fear of losing any type of control over yourself. And even though, like, some of you might even be triggered by me pronouncing these words because you're so scared of them being a reality. And that's why I wanted to make a quick video today to reassure you guys. Because as much as the fear of going crazy is very normal when you are struggling with DPDR, the actual reality of it is very far from the truth. To start off with a quick reassurance, I think I've worked with probably somewhere between 150 to 200 people, or like it's very hard to put a number on it, but somewhere between 100 and 200 people with DPDR, probably more towards the 150. And every single person I have ever worked with has had the fear of going crazy. And none of the people I've ever worked with have actually lost their mind and gone crazy. So, if anything, you can hold on to the statistic that 0% of my clients have ever gone crazy. But all of them, 100% of them, have had that same fear. And I'm here to tell you today why that is and how to deal with that fear or how to perceive it. The core of DPDR is that essentially you lose connection to yourself because you dissociate, or you lose connection to life because you dissociate. And dissociation is a response of your nervous system to protect you in case you have a perceived threat, so something you don't feel safe with. But your normal fight or flight response doesn't actually help you because you can't run away from the danger or you can't fight the danger. And so the last option that your nervous system has is to dissociate, so to disconnect from whatever it is in that moment that feels so unsafe. And so for a lot of people, they dissociate from life outside of them or from themselves, which is what depersonalization feels like. And so the core of DPDR very often has to do with a fear of losing control, a fear of not having control. And very often, our response to DPDR in itself is that we feel like we don't have control over it. Therefore, we strengthen that fear of not having control. And so, why do we fear going crazy? You kind of have to compare it to say that you are driving a car and you get hit in a car accident and you're actually fine, so nothing happens, but you really are shocked by the fact that that car accident happened. Then from that moment onwards, you're going to be afraid maybe of driving. Well, the fear of driving isn't actually about being afraid to drive. It is about being afraid to get into a car accident and die. And so that first experience of being hit kind of put a little fear response in you because your brain is trying to avoid you from ever having a car accident. And that's why it wants you to be scared of it, because if you're afraid of something, then you will run away from it or you will try to avoid the situation as much as you can. And your brain wants to avoid you from going into a car accident and actually ending up hurt. So that's why that fear comes up. That's why it's helpful. However, does that mean that driving is the same as getting into a car accident? Of course not. Does that mean that every time that you have the fear of driving that you will get into a car accident? Of course not. But the fear is a reflection or the thought of I'm going to get into a car accident is a reflection of the fear that you have of losing control over the car or not having control over the situation while driving. So with DPDR, a lot of the fear that we have is about the fact that we're not in control of our sensations, of our emotions, of our symptoms. And so, what is the worst case scenario when we don't have control over our emotions, sensations, and symptoms? Is what if we lose all control and we actually end up going crazy? Does that mean that you will? No. Does that mean that it's understandable that that's what your brain thinks is the worst case scenario based on the fear that you already have? Of course. And so, the advice I always give people, if this is a fear that you're struggling with, is instead of focusing too much on the thought of going crazy, try to see the fear of it and what the root of it is. The root of the fear of going crazy is the fear of not having control, being enlarged into what the worst possible way of losing control could be, which is actually going crazy or losing your mind, losing all control of yourself, losing all control of reality. And that is normal because right now you are afraid of losing control. But a lot of what I work a lot on with people and a lot of what my course teaches as well is that the way out is essentially to learn to feel safe with not having control, to learn to let go of that control and actually see that we are going to be okay when we do that. And so once you can reprogram the way your brain looks at control and not see losing control as something terrifying anymore and actually something that can also still be a safe experience, that you can be at peace while letting go of control, the more you do that, the more your brain will see that actually losing or not having control over every emotion, over every thought, does not mean that you actually end up going crazy. So when you expose yourself to uncomfortable emotions and you actually sit with them and feel them, even though you can't immediately change them, you do start to show your brain that, look, when we feel our feelings, when we allow this, nothing bad really happens. We don't suddenly lose more control. We actually end up just being able to let the emotion pass, maybe even gain a bit more control because we can have a more safe relationship with these emotions, which actually makes them pass a lot quicker, or with these symptoms or experiences. So, to finish off, I just want you to know that it is so, so normal to have this fear, but it is not going to happen. Another thing I've heard here and there is like people that actually go crazy are not aware or not afraid of going crazy because they're so convinced of their mindset that they don't have the self-awareness to question their own sense of reality anymore. So I just want to give that to you as a little reassurance today. Please don't take that thought seriously. When you have the fear of what if I go crazy, try to just see it as, okay, that's my fear of losing control. That's all it is. I don't have to interpret it as more than that. Just like when you're driving a car and you say, what if I get into a car accident? You know, it's normal to have that fear if you've once been in an accident before, but that does not mean that you will be in an accident again. And again, I have never ever actually experienced someone going crazy. Um, so that says something, doesn't it? Um, so yeah, I hope this video reassured anyone that struggles with this fear. I really just wanted to say I appreciate you guys for tuning in every week and watching these videos. I hope that this one helped you today, and I hope to see you guys in my next video. Bye.